Hello everyone, Mrs. Newman here. Today I'm going to show you how to set a website in Noodletools. So let's get started. First, make sure you're logged into Noodletools and have created the project you want your information to go in. So over here I've already had my project created and I'm going to go ahead and go into it. To start a new citation, I always start up here at the right corner with New Source. The type of source I'd like to cite today is a website, and it is a web page. Notice how it is a different color because that's usually the most popular one in this category. Okay, Noodletools has provided us a template. It does not know our information, we need to provide it. So I'm going to go ahead and find a website that I would like to cite, and I'm going to walk you through it. For the purpose of this video, I actually find it's sometimes easier to have my Noodletools and my website I'm citing side by side, so I don't have to keep tabbing back and forth. So I'm going to go ahead and split my screen. Okay, so I have my two tabs separated, so let's go through the template and see what we can find. So when citing a website, the first thing that Noodletools asks us for is a URL. That's simply the web address where you're getting your information. That's always here at the top of your website. When I click it once, it highlights the whole thing. Control-C, and then back in Noodletools, Control-V, and my URL is now there. Next step, date of publication. It would be awesome if we had a month, a day, and the year. Sometimes you only have a year, and I know that because when I click on this box and I click the little I for information, it tells me I can look for the publication date or the copyright date, and the copyright date tends to only be a year. So if I can't find a specific date, I can always use just the year, the copyright. Fortunately, in this case, we do have a specific date. It's right here at the top. So I'm going to use March 19th, 2019 as my date. Moving along, the next piece is the most recent date of access. That's simply the day you're looking at the website. If you click this little hyperlink called Today, Noodletools will fill in the current date for you. As we keep scrolling, the next piece of information we need is the contributor. It would be great if we can find an author, an editor, or a translator. Sometimes you will not find this information, and that is okay, but it's always best to try and look first. Over here on my article, it does show me author, and it says procon.org, which is the name of this website. Personally, I don't find this to be specific enough. I don't know who at this website created this information, so I'm not going to use that because I don't have a person's name. Sometimes an author's name will appear towards the end of an article, so I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and make sure I didn't miss anything. It appears the end of the article stops here. I do not see an author's name, so I can either go ahead and leave it blank, or I can click this red trash can and get rid of that piece of information. The next piece of information we need is called webpage or document/article title. That's a whole mouthful to say, so I'm going to just call this article title. An article title should answer the question, well, what am I reading about on this page? It should be specific to the topic you are researching. Noodletools will offer help with this little I for information. When I click it, it tells me, look for the title at the top of the webpage in a larger font, right? So that's usually where a title will go. So I'm over here at the top of my article, and there are several pieces of information that stand out to me, but the one that explains what I'm reading about on this page seems to be this one right here. Free college, top 3 pros and cons, right? That explains what I'm reading about. It makes sense. It is spelled correctly. It is capitalized properly, and it's copyable. So I'm going to copy it. Control-C, Control-V. This piece of information is required. You do need to have an article title. So if you cannot find something, you click Untitled and you give it a title that best explains what you're reading about on that page. The next piece of information is name of website. This is different than the article title. The article title was specific about what you were learning about. A website title will usually be more general. It should tell us the name of the entire website. Since it's more important, it tends to be higher up on the screen, and often it'll be stylized in a way to stand out. It might be a different font, color, size, it might have a logo with it, so it should stand out some way. Right here, I could see procon.org seems to be my website title. Unfortunately, it is a picture. I can tell that because my cursor is changing to a hand, so I can't copy it, but I can go ahead and type it in. So it looks like they write their name like this, procon.org. You'll notice I did not capitalize the entire name of website like they did here. It's important to follow correct grammatical rules when you're citing. They've probably included all of this in capital letters just to stand out. It's just the way they have their title. But we know that we do not normally write like that, so I changed it to reflect the proper grammatical style. If you are having trouble figuring out what the name of your website should be, there's another trick you can look for. Right now, I'm on the article called Free College, Top 3 Pros and Cons. What if I chose a different article? Maybe I wanted to learn now about student loan debt. So if I click that article, you can see that my article title over here has changed because I'm reading about a different topic. But you should notice that the website title does not change. It should stay consistent. Whatever article you choose on this website, this title will stay consistent, meaning it is my website title. The last piece of information we need to cite this website is a publisher. Sometimes you will not find this piece of information, and if you cannot find it, it is okay to leave it out, but it's best to make sure you look for it first. If you're unsure what a publisher would be, Noodletools is giving you some help. When I click on this little I, it tells me look for a copyright statement. It also says that if the publisher's name is the same as the website name, I do not need to repeat it. All right, so I'm going to look for a copyright statement. Copyright statement, if you remember, is a C in a circle, and it tends to usually be at the bottom of a website, the very, very bottom. So I'm going to scroll there. And here I see at the bottom the copyright. It tells me 2020, which I don't need because we already had a date, but it also tells me that the publisher is Encyclopedia Britannica Inc. That is not the same as procon.org, so I am going to include it, and I can copy it, so I'm going to do that. Control C, Control V, and it adds it in. Noodletools is saying some suggestions to change ink. I think it's fine because that's the way the website has it. I'm going to keep it there. The very last thing I need to do when I've finished filling out all the information I have is to come here at the top of Noodletools and click Save. Noodletools has taken all the information we put into the template, arranged it in the proper way, and created an MLA citation for us. And that is how you cite a website with Noodletools.